Today we're going to use the TI84 calculator to find the exponential regression. One of the first tasks that you're going to want to do on the TI84 calculator is go set up your stat plots. This will allow you to see the data points after we enter them into the calculator. So to do that, you're going to go and hit second y equals. That gives our stat plots. So you're going to hit enter, and then you're going to choose the on, highlight on, and hit enter, then second quit. Let's get our data from this table that you see here into our calculator. To get the data in there, we're going to need to hit the buttons Stat, Edit on your calculator. So go to Stat, hit Enter on the top. You'll see it says Edit. Next, you're going to notice that on the table, there looks like there's some data already in here. To get rid of the current data that's in the column, you're going to need to highlight the L1. So arrow up to L1, hit the clear button on your calculator, and hit enter. This will make the data disappear out of that column without deleting it. So let's go ahead and start entering our data. X's go in the L1, Y's go in the L2 column. Now that we've entered our data, let's take a look and see what our graph looks like with these new points plotted. As you can see here, if you'll notice, I'm only seeing 4 data points, and notice how many we have. We actually have 6 points that we should see on the graph. So let's go fix this so we can see as much as we can. We know that we need to look at our X values that go from 0 to 5, and then our Y values go from 0 all the way up to 36. So let's go fix our calculator. To do that, you're going to click on the Windows button right below your screen. So here you can see what your table is set at currently. Now to fix it so it will include all your data, make sure that you go down to the Y maximum and change it to where it will include that 36 value. I'm going to go ahead and put 38 in there so that it will have it, and I'm going to do my scale to count by 2s. This way you can see the entire thing on the window without any issues. So here you go, the 38, and then I change my scale to 2. And let's take another look at it. Now it's quite obvious that you can see all the data points, and now it looks like the parent function of an exponential decay. Reading it from left to right, you can see that the data points are going down and to the right. All right, so from here, we're going to talk about the exponential regression. We're going to actually put the data into our calculator. I've written the steps down here so you can kind of see it. And if you want to write it down, hit the pause button and do so. So here we go. You can see here, I'm going to hit the stat button, and then I'm going to go over to calculate. And then I'm going to go down to 0 and hit enter on the exponential regression. Then I'm going to arrow down to see where it says store regression equation. And from here, I'm going to hit the button that says vars to the left of the clear. Then I'm going to arrow to the right, hit y vars, hit enter on function, and then enter again on y1. This will allow you, once you hit calculate, the calculator will automatically store this data that you see here on the screen and place it into our y equals equation. Before going further into the y equals, I want us to go ahead and write down the equation as a function so you have it for your homework or for whatever you're doing. If you'll notice when you look at the screen at the top, it will give you information for the equation. So here it is right here. It says y equals a times b to the x power. So you're used to seeing it written as y equals a parentheses b close parentheses to the x power. We know what a and b values are because right below the equation they give us, you can see here, it will tell you. So if you want to manually enter this information into the y equals instead of doing the vars and having the calculator do it for you, you can. So just make sure that you input it correctly. So you want to write y equals 36, open parentheses, 0.5, close parentheses, and make sure you put the x in the exponent spot. All right, so from here you can see where they've inserted into y1 under your y equals button, and now it's going to graph those plots, and you will also see the equation line coming down, and that would be your regression from the data. So here you can see from left to right, it looks like the exponential regression, and we would consider this a good fit. All right, so let's just recap the steps for the TI84 calculator when we enter data from a table. The first thing you want to do is turn your stat plots on. To do this, you're going to go to second y equals, hit enter, make sure that it's highlighted to on, hit enter again, and that will allow you to see the data points if you go hit the graph button. Now, to do the actual regression or to create the function that you're looking for from the table data, you will need to go into Stat Edit. And once you get into Stat Edit, in the L1 column will be your X values and the L2 column will be your Y values. Once you've inputted all those values, you're going to hit the Stat button again, arrow to the right under Calculate, and then you can choose which function regression you want to do, whether it's linear, exponential, quadratic, your choice. After you've chosen what function you want and hit enter, you're going to arrow down on the next screen 3 times. This will put you at the store regression equation, and that's where you're going to hit the button vars. It's just to the left of the clear button on your calculator, and then you're going to hit enter for number 1 on function, and then you're going to hit enter again for number 1, and it'll say Y1. Now, after you've done that, you're going to arrow down to calculate on your next screen and hit enter again. This will go ahead and generate that equation, and it will populate in the screen. From here, you can either manually write down the equation so that you can enter it on your worksheet or for your homework, or you can go into y equals and actually view the equation that went from the regression and hit the graph button, and this will allow you to see your final product to see if the regression actually fits the data points that you put in the calculator. Hope this helps. Okay, so here you can see a little reference chart. You can see the parent function both for the exponential growth graph and the exponential decay. Also, to the right, you'll notice there's some shortcuts for the TI84 to kind of help remind you what to do, as well as on Desmos on what you can do there when you do a regression for exponential. Hope this helps.